Hello everyone, welcome back to Mascot Gardening. It has been a while since we last spoke. I think it's been close to 3 weeks. I did say that in 2 weeks since the previous video we're going to take a look at how the tomatoes are doing, if they're ripe, if they're ready to harvest. Sadly, the weather has been absolutely terrible. It's been a month of rain, of storms, and that's normally good for plants, of course, but not for a balcony, because we don't actually take any benefit out of the water that comes down from the rain. And then at the same time, because of the cloud cover, we don't get any sunlight. So that means for the past month, our tomatoes have been in constant clouds, which doesn't help because as you know, we're facing north, and that means we're getting just a tiny bit of sun in the morning and tiny bit of sun in the afternoon. So that means with the cloud cover, even that kind of went away. So it has been a bit of a journey. I have been trying to find a day with a much better kind of light just to be able to kind of shoot these videos. Today it's around 30 degrees. There is some sunlight. There's quite a lot of clouds, but let's just see how it plays out and take it from there. And this is how it looks today. This is the entire balcony. As you can see, we have made some changes. Things might be looking a bit different today. I'll try and put side-by-side pictures just to see what it looked like in the past. But let's just kick off with it. Let's see where we are. As you can notice, there's quite a lot of color, and this is really exciting. And look at this first pot that we have here, quite a lot of tomatoes. And as you kind of look at the bottom where the first fruits took hold, you can see quite a lot of them. In this first plot that we have the Red Riding Hood. I was trying to remember right now. And actually a lot of these tomatoes that you see here, they're not from the indeterminate plant, they're for the bushy variety that's called the Bajaja. And after each video I keep saying I'm gonna look it up to see how you pronounce it, but I always forget. Oops, sorry. Now, because of the clouds and I guess the lack of sunlight, a lot of the leaves look a bit kind of down. I've been trimming it every few days, and I keep getting loads and loads of leaf off. This is one of the things that we've done even before this kind of bad weather started, is to kind of take away a lot of the leaf coverage that we had at the bottom, because the initial idea was, as the indeterminates keep growing on higher and higher, they get that real estate, right? And then the bushy determinate varieties, they're gonna need this real estate. So we kind of cleared a lot of the leaves just to make sure that the smaller bushy varieties make it. Sadly, some of them didn't. And some of them are not even doing much or a lot of the things that some of their siblings are doing. So this is a Malignagk. I'm more and more convinced. As you can see, really big fellow right here, and it's still kind of green. The light is not amazing, so let me try and maybe zoom in like this. Yeah, next to it it's another Malignagk, but look at this. This has been like this for 2 months now. It's not growing. Might as well just take it out. Now I'll leave it there just to see what happens. All of this are from the Bajajas, and I can tell mainly because for the indeterminate ones, the ones that are growing super tall, we have this herringbone structure. I call it herringbone. It might be fishbone, whatever you want to call it. But look at this. You have like basically 10 tomatoes or 12 kind of stacked up high, and then in the bushy ones, I think maybe it's similar, but obviously not 10. You get like 3 of them in like tiny clusters. So that's what we have in the first, and there's quite a lot of green ones waiting to ripe. So I think this Bajaja, at least, it did its part fully, because we have around 20 cherry tomatoes. I think there's like 20-30 more to go, and hopefully it doesn't stop. Now on to the Red Riding Hood. Look at this, beautiful green tomatoes, the herringbone that I'm talking about, or the fishbone, whatever you want to call it, clusters and clusters. And actually up high, if I can get a picture of this, you can see quite a lot of flowers. So now the challenge is actually to keep the plants indoors, because they want to go over the net. We have this net because of the cats. They don't need it, they don't feel like they want to jump, but because we added so many flowers, I thought with the amount of pollinators and insects, it might be tempting for them. So that's why we added the net. But I think it also kind of helps with the potting that we have. Sometimes when we had the storms, I had to kind of use different methods to hook up the pots to the net, just to make sure that the plants are going to be okay. For the second pot, I wanted to go on this angle, mainly because this is the black cherry, and I wanted to show how beautiful this color is. You can see the normal red, the cherry tomatoes, and this is the black variety. And it's really kind of starting to color up. I think these are the first ones we're gonna get. There's quite a lot of other clusters. There's a pretty big one here. We actually had to tie it to the net. I think it's like 3 clusters next to each other. Look at this. It's just a handful of tomatoes, and obviously, like the Red Riding Hood, quite a lot of flowers that we're getting on top. A lot of the leaves looks like this. I think even with the pots that we have. Before we move on, I want to talk a bit about irrigation. The tomato plants, I think I mentioned in the previous video, they do need a lot more water than I expected. And our pots have passive irrigation. Now, passive irrigation is really good if you're not very disciplined and if you forget to water them daily, which I kind of prefer this method. It's a bit more flexible, it doesn't stress me out. But even with the passive irrigation, they still actually need more water than I expected. So I'll show you now in the third part that we have. So these black pots, they have this this hole right here. I think you can see it. Maybe the light is not amazing, but anyway, this hole right here, you pour water in, and I think all the way to the bottom you get the water, and then the soil kind of gets to absorb it. So quite a lot of water. I think I can fit maybe 5 liters, maybe 6. And then in this ones we have the uyas. Each of those hold 1 liter, and then that's still not enough. I think it takes like 2 or 3 days for the water from the uyas, this ceramic bowls that we have, to kind of dissipate into the soil. And one of the reasons why I want to mention this, and I'll take this type of shot for here so you can see, this is a fourth pot that we have. So this is where we have the Sweet Baby variety, and this is where we have the Cherolas, and we actually have more than 1 Cherolas. When we seeded them, we actually planted quite a lot of seeds. All of them grew so beautifully, so we just decided to keep all of them. It might have been a bad idea because of all of the leaves we had to cut, but let's see how they perform. Now, one of the things that I wanted to show you, mascots. This mascot, because it's sitting by the window, I suspect that helps it do better than its cousin who died in the first pot. But when it comes to watering, I would just want to show you some beautiful tomatoes right here. So you have left and right this really red, and honestly they're a bit bigger than a normal cherry tomato, but I just want to show you on this one. So you can see it cracked. Let me see if I can get closer to it. Maybe I can just take it out. There we go. I was able to take it out. Now you can see it cracked all along the side, and this happens when watering is irregular. That means you water it every 3 days, and then the plant kind of lives in the dry soil, and then it gets a lot of water at once, and it's trying to put the water into the fruit. And then the fruit, because it's not growing at a constant pace, it kind of bursts up, which is what's happened here. So I have a few of these, and mainly because I told you the watering has been, let's say, inconsistent, mainly because of me. It's also because of the weather. I guess I thought the humidity in the air, maybe it's gonna help them. Obviously it didn't. A lot of the leaves are looking quite dead, which is what I have been trimming for the past few weeks. Now this Bajaja, again, doing beautifully. As you can see, quite a lot of fruits. The Sweet Baby actually is fruiting, a lot of them right here, but nothing ready to harvest just yet. So I'm really kind of curious how sweet this will be. But until then, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with the normal cherry tomatoes. One of this is where we've made quite a lot of changes. I'll try and put side-by-side pictures just so you can see how it looked. In the past, we had the lettuce experiment in all those black containers. That failed, and because I wanted a bit more real estate, I just stacked them up. Everything that I need is on top, which is not a lot actually. One of the new flowers that I bought, and then there's a tomato I'm going to show you in a second. Now, I've done that mainly because I wanted to rearrange a bit the heirloom tomatoes that I have in this pots right here, which are now doing much better than before, and also because I wanted to get this leaf coverage so we can get some light towards the herb planter that we have, and also some of the flowers we had in the back. Now, I don't think it helped, or maybe the light was not sufficient, so I'll see in August, maybe it's gonna help. But some of the flowers that we just put in right there, they're not gonna make it, I think. I hope, I don't know. I'm watering them as much as possible, but it doesn't look likely. We have been talking about the sensor in the previous videos. I never got a chance to show you, but I'll show you right now. It's called the soil tester. You can find it on Amazon, it's super cheap. It shows you a few things, the temperature being one of them, temperature of the soil. Now, I don't know how that is helpful for me in my situation. Maybe it's gonna be helpful outdoors. Oops, okay. Now, at the bottom it shows you how the water is in the soil. So right now it says normal, which is kind of strange because I just watered it, so I was kind of expecting it to go wet. Yeah, there you go, wet. If I keep it out, normal, dry, dry. So I guess if I hold it in the air, it's just gonna be dry plus. This is how I measure if I'm watering correctly. And at the top also it gives me the sunlight. As you can expect, it's low. As I mentioned, it's always gonna be low. Sometimes it goes to normal if we do get direct sunlight, but that's how we live it. Another useful feature of this is pH, measure the pH. It does take a few minutes to calibrate. Okay. Okay, now we decided it doesn't want to work. But what it does, basically measure the pH. So if you take it out, it kind of jumps to 9, 7. Previously when I measured it, I think it's 6.8 for everything that I have. So there we have it. Now onto the heirloom tomatoes. This one right here is not even flowering, but besides this, it seems to be doing well. Maybe it has like a really long flowering period. The Alaskas, really beautiful flowers. Oh, sorry, really beautiful tomatoes right here. And then this is the Black Seaman. This is the slicer variety. This kind of looks like the Maliniac I showed you in the first pot. But hopefully in another few weeks we're gonna get that. And then in the back we have a local variety from Poland called Maliniac. Again, really beautiful tomatoes, 2 of them there, a few more on the top, so quite a lot. Let's talk about the strawberries. So initially I said I would love to have like a wall of strawberries going down from the pots, the hanging pots, and then to the herb garden that we have. That didn't work out. A lot of the tomatoes that we've put in this pots died, actually. I'm not exactly sure why. They're still, I guess, you know, they're still fruiting, flowering. So they're still doing all right. The flowers are doing all right as well. I can see the lighting on the camera is atrocious, so bear with me. This one's right here. A lot of these are wild strawberries. They have been fruiting, but they have a lot more leaves than fruits, so we don't have a wall of strawberries, that's for sure. And besides this, I think I explained some of these flowers, they do look like they're on their last legs, sadly, which is a shame because they had such a beautiful color, a really kind of bright yellow. This is a strawberry right here, right next to it, and then the mint. And I think this mint already has a few generations. As you can see, the original mint kind of grew on this side and then towards the window, and now we have baby mint growing out of the roots. So we're definitely getting a few generations worth of that mint. And besides this, I think this is it. We're gonna start harvesting now, all of these tomatoes. I've been waiting for a few days to get them recorded for the YouTube channel, and now we're just gonna enjoy them. Now we've done this entire experiment just for this, the tasting part. We've just harvested. This is the Red Riding Hood. I think you can tell it is a bit on the pinkier side than everybody else. This is the Bajaja. This is the Mascot. So the Mascot does make really nice looking fruits. Obviously some of them are cracked because of how I've been watering them, but this is what we have so far. Looks really nice. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching the tour with us. I really appreciate you spending the time watching all of these videos, and I hope you enjoy our tomato experiment. Till next time.